Welcome to World Transits Today, exploring the planetary archetypes with their changing relationships, blending consciousness research with astrology. I'm Art Granoff. Today, March 22, 2022 on World Transits, special archetypal news network edition 51. We explore numerous planetary archetypes. Jupiter conjunct Neptune, then showing the inner planets' yearly transits for 2022. Saturn square Uranus, one more year to go. Also, we dive into Venus conjunct Mars. Long transit for 4 months that's also squared with Uranus. Let's start with Jupiter conjunct Neptune, January of this year till February 2023. A 1-year transit. The passwords are generosity and compassion. A big opening to kindness, unity, the big melt, the elevated inner view. Here's Jupiter and Neptune as the yearly chord for 2022. Look who's visiting. Let's go on tour with the planetary parade, where we may archetypally predict all year. Here's the sun traveling through Jupiter and Neptune. Start with Sun Jupiter, just ending Sun Neptune. Then we have Sun conjunct Uranus in a couple of weeks for 1 month. Then we start over again with Sun opposite Pluto in July, Sun opposite Neptune and opposite Jupiter. And so it goes. We have Mercury and Pluto started the year off. And Mercury, Jupiter, Mercury, Neptune right now. Coming up in a couple of weeks, it's Mercury conjunct Uranus, the aha moment. Moving back again in July to Mercury opposite Pluto, Mercury, Jupiter, Mercury, Neptune, and back to Mercury, Uranus. Venus, planet of love and beauty. In a month or so, it would be Venus conjunct Uranus. Then we repeat. Venus opposite Pluto in August. Venus opposite Jupiter and Neptune in October. And Mars, right now, just ending. Mars conjunct Pluto, the Ukraine war. We've got Mars conjunct Neptune and Jupiter coming up in a couple of months. And Mars conjunct Uranus this summer. So to see it all together, it looks like this. So here's our year with Jupiter and Neptune underneath all of these wonderful transits. Now we can predict archetypally. What's going on for you this year? A good example, I'm excited about a larger view, teaching astrology, training in Granoff breathwork while opening deeper to the archetypes. Carl Jung called the archetypes a self-replicating pattern of behavior, dynamisms not unlike living forces that dominate human life, societal forms, and as timeless and omnipresent gods erupting into history. Saturn square Uranus, till January 2023. Saturn is form, what's firm and solid, or what's restricted by rules, stuck or weighed down by time. Uranus changes form to what's new, detached and exciting, driven by inspiration, what may be, or too emancipated to get anything done. This transit highlights challenges and brings insight towards working with opposites. The Ukraine war, the top example today. One side wants something to remain the same. The other wants change, conflict, opening, clash. What's fresh meets resistance. The whole battle between opposing forces. Saturn, stay like this. Follow tradition, double down. Uranus, open to new possibilities, what may be. And from Robert Hunter, if all you've got to live for is what you've left behind, Get yourself a powder charge and seal that silver mine. And now, Venus conjunct Mars through the end of April. And for Venus conjunct Mars, let's welcome James Hillman. From The Guardian, James Hillman has been hailed as the most important US psychologist since William James. He was a dedicated subversive, witty and original, and an heir to the Jungian tradition, which he reimagined with unceasing brilliance. He drew on the writers and philosophers of the Italian Renaissance and ancient Greece. Not wishing to create a school of his own, he proposed an archetypal or imaginal psychology that would restore the psyche or soul to a discipline he believed to have been diminished by scientific and medical models. Hillman argued that reality is a construct of the imagination, the stuff of myths, dreams, fantasies, and images. Author of the New York Times best-selling book, The Soul's Code. In Search of Character and Calling, 1997, outlines what he calls the acorn theory of the soul, which states that all people already hold the potential for the unique possibilities inside themselves, much as an acorn holds the pattern for an oak tree. The book suggests reconnection with the third superior factor in discovering our individual nature and in determining who we are and our life's calling. Is he suggesting helpers through the curtain? Here's his chart, and I'll highlight a few aspects. He's born at the new moon, sun conjunct moon. A grounded perspective is available by wedding the gracious and respectful union of male and female energies, sometimes leading with the sun going forward, lighting a trail, sometimes leading with emotions or feelings, and open emotionally, in tune with both sides, celebrating their union through insight or myth. Also, too much emotion may shield the sun. While the blazing sun gets too hot or too bright, grab a hat, some water, cool down. Sun trine Neptune, identifying with imagination. Hillman's a Buddha of perceptibility. His archetypal psychology is based on originality and depth. Open emotionally, the tender grasp, reaching out with compassion, offers solutions through ancient tales, mythology. With Moon and Neptune together, watch for overgiving or indiscriminate helping. Fixing things for people who may or may not want a hand. Sun square Pluto, he's his own guy. His unique voice speaks through his writing. His work is vital, compelling, and we want more, inspiring us to think past our boundaries. He has Saturn square Neptune. His ideas, Neptune, are formalized, Saturn, into action, Mars, writing books. Hillman has Jupiter opposite Neptune. In the sky again, Jupiter conjunct Neptune. Passwords being generosity and compassion, a big opening to kindness, unity, the big melt. And Mars conjunct Jupiter opposite Neptune, making a big point with gentle strength. He's strong in inspiration. His whole milieu is bust past the medical and psychological limits. Go further, go deeper. Find the way in. You'll be happier. Also something new, Mercury conjunct Uranus, thinking fresh ideas. The aha moment, his numerous thinking person's books. Also, Mercury trine Saturn. He uses precise language, referencing characters from deep myth. Mercury Saturn, he's tough, speaks his truth. He's to the point and very opinionated. Hillman with Saturn trine Uranus, old versus new. He's a trained Jungian analyst, then goes his own way, creating archetypal psychology. Venus opposite Neptune, Mars opposite Neptune, male, female, mythic, imagination, inspiration. We have Venus conjunct Mars in the sky. That's why I brought in James Hillman today. War is on everyone's mind now. I'm reading The Terrible Love of War by James Hillman. From the back cover, war is a timeless force in the human imagination and indeed in daily life. Engaged in the activity of destruction, its soldiers and victims discover a paradoxical yet profound sense of existing, of being human. In A Terrible Love of War, James Hillman undertakes a groundbreaking examination of the essence of war, its psychological origins, and inhuman behaviors. He utilizes reports from many fronts and times, letters from combatants, analysis by military authorities, classic myths, and writings from great thinkers. Hillman's broad sweep and detailed research bring a fundamentally new understanding to humanity's simultaneous attraction and aversion to war. In the 4 chapters, war is normal, war is inhuman, war is sublime, and war is religion. Based on this book, I wonder, is the hit that warriors call sublime the same as we get with meditation? Totally sublime. Venus conjunct Mars. We know Venus as beauty, love, and attraction. And from The Terrible Love of War, here's some nicknames for Mars in Roman culture. Raging, wild, untamable, overbearing, insane, bloody, sudden, horrible, vehement, unrestrained, spear carrier, loathsome, savage. Venus-Mars conjunction, end of January to the end of April. Quote, understanding the fusion between beauty and violence, terror and love, the terrible love of war is precisely our task. The distinctions between Mars and Venus, Aries and Aphrodite as opposites, and the reason for their mutual attraction as opposites is easy enough. Their natures seem so radically different that this pair is a familiar theme in poems and paintings throughout centuries. Mars hairy, Venus smooth, Mars fiercely brash, savage, and red. Venus watery, pale, receptive, and secretive. Mars armored and shielded with earthbound feet. Venus unclothed, vulnerable, lightly grounded. Mars is the god of rhetorical speed, galloping along in dactyls and anapests, while beauty lingers, and because it satisfies, beauty arrests motion. Thus, they balance each other in a compensatory system of mutual concord, each fulfilling a gap in the other, expressed allegorically in the child of their union, harmonia. Let's add Uranus. Venus square Uranus till the end of the month. Venus love, charm, and beauty. With Uranus, release and innovation, new love, fresh attraction. Venus Uranus, love at first sight, fresh possibilities, fresh air, delight. Open Venus with liberating Uranus, though Venus may get too emotional and Uranus may get too free. Then Venus Uranus are at odds. And Mars square Uranus till the first part of April. Mars not subtle, worked up and eager, to the point, direct and forceful. With Uranus bursting existing structures, shows the fresh direction or new way, though Uranus can get lost swimming the deep waters. 2 independent planetary archetypes meet, potent Mars with emancipated Uranus. What do we get? Fresh conflict, Ukraine, new force development, standing up for what we believe in. Russia saying Ukraine joining NATO is an existential threat and must be stopped. The US response is encouraging the fight to the last Ukrainian. Thanks for joining me on World Transits Today, everybody. Archetypal News Network Edition. Watch World Transits Today at my site, Reference Astrology. Hear the audio version at Apple Podcasts. Contact me directly at Reference Astrology for a birth chart and transit reading, where we explore the planetary archetypes. Place them on top of your chart, revealing your personal transits to see what's up for you.